the lip balm.
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, you got an alligator on here.
Watch him, Pee-wee, watch him. Throw him with the ball.
She wasn't loud, she didn't chase fame, but when Pickle showed up on Swamp People, everything changed. A young woman from the Louisiana swamps armed with nothing more than skill, grit, and a quiet confidence quickly became one of the show's most unforgettable stars. But just as fast as she rose, she started to disappear from episodes, promos, and the spotlight. Why did she step back? Was it planned, personal, or something more? In this video we take you beyond the cameras and into the real-life journey of Picklewet, from her fearless hunts to family milestones. What really happened to the rising star of the swamp? The answers might just change how you see her forever. Picklewet didn't grow up in the spotlight. Born on September 21, 1995 in Pyrrhus, Louisiana, she was raised far from the world of television and social media. Her upbringing was rooted in a rural way of life where hunting alligators wasn't seen as entertainment. It was a serious, often dangerous occupation that had been passed down through generations in Pickle's family. Alligator hunting wasn't a seasonal hobby or a part-time job, it was a tradition, a necessity, and for many a matter of survival. Her family history in hunting goes back decades. Her great-grandfather was one of the first known alligator hunters in St. Bernard Parish, a swampy area to the east of New Orleans. The region is known for its dense wetlands and a challenging, unpredictable natural environment that has long shaped the people who live there. Her father, Eddie Wheat, continued the trade and was the one who introduced her to hunting at a very young age. It wasn't just about shooting and trapping. Pickle learned how to move through the swamp, how to read the water, and how to pick up on signs most people would overlook: ripples, sounds, shadows, signs that could mean the difference between catching an alligator and going home empty-handed. By the time she reached her teenage years, Pickle was already well-versed in handling the gear, maintaining equipment, and navigating the bayous in a wooden boat. Her early life wasn't shaped by sports or dance classes but by long days out in the swamp working side by side with her father. It was a kind of education that most people will never experience. Through it all she learned discipline, quick thinking, and how to stay calm in moments of pressure. All of these traits would later serve her well when she stepped in front of the camera. In addition to their hunting work, the Wheat family also runs a business that manufactures duck and turkey calls. These handcrafted tools are an essential part of traditional hunting culture in the region and are not just functional, they're seen by many as cultural symbols of the southern lifestyle. Pickle wasn't just casually involved in the business, she played an active role in production, from shaping the wood to tuning the sound, giving her a practical understanding of how craftsmanship connects to the natural world. It also gave her an even deeper respect for the traditions her family upheld, as well as the responsibility to carry them forward. Her nickname Pickle has its own backstory. Her middle name Nicole, when said quickly in her family's southern accent, ended up sounding like Shiny Pickle. As with many family nicknames, the phrase stuck and soon everyone around her was calling her Pickle. Over time the nickname became so much a part of her identity that even national television audiences would come to know her by it. Not much is publicly known about Pickle's formal education, and it's widely believed that she didn't pursue higher education after high school. Instead, she chose to remain close to her roots, working with her family and living the life she had grown up with. In a short interview aired by the History Channel, Pickle once said, "I don't need a degree to be true to who I am. All I need is a good boat, a strong rope, and sharp eyes." That one quote summed up much of what audiences would come to admire about her: her grounded outlook and her pride in a life that many people consider unconventional. Before becoming a public figure, Pickle led a simple life. She was known for her braided hair, rubber boots, and practical clothing, t-shirts and jeans rather than anything flashy. She had very little presence on social media and wasn't interested in building an image online. People who had worked with her or done business with the Wheat family described her as quick on her feet, strong-minded, and not afraid of physical work, even when it meant hauling heavy loads of meat in wet, muddy conditions that would send most people packing. Louisiana alligator hunting is no easy task. It requires patience, endurance, a sharp eye, and sometimes nerves of steel. It is physically tough and mentally taxing, but from all accounts Pickle possessed all the qualities needed to thrive in that environment. She wasn't out there to prove a point, she was doing what she had always done, except now there was a camera following her. Her toughness didn't come from bravado, it came from experience. Growing up in a community where women were rarely seen as frontline hunters, Pickle was given no special treatment. She was trained with the same standards and expectations as any man in the trade. That early no-nonsense preparation helped shape her into the kind of hunter who could keep up with the best of them, something viewers quickly realized when she made her debut on Swamp People. When she first appeared in the show's 12th season in 2021, it didn't take long for audiences to notice that Pickle wasn't just another new face added to boost ratings. She brought real skill, real-life experience, and a refreshing presence to a series that had already been running for over a decade. In a cast made up mostly of veteran male hunters, having a young woman join the main lineup was a noticeable shift and a calculated one by producers. but it wasn't a gimmick. Pickle proved almost immediately that she wasn't just filling a quota or playing a part. She was there because she had earned her place from the start. Her on-screen persona was marked by calm confidence and practical know-how. She wasn't theatrical. She didn't need to exaggerate or perform. Her personality came through in her quiet determination, quick decision-making, and the way she carried herself during tense moments on the water. Paired often with Troy Landry, one of the most well-known figures on the show, Pickle quickly established a strong mentor-apprentice dynamic that many viewers found compelling. Their interactions weren't scripted or forced. They reflected a real professional relationship built on respect and shared experience. Troy once said in an interview, "Pickle doesn't have to prove she's good. She just needs to show up and do her work, and that's enough." That statement reflected what fans saw each week, someone who was authentic, competent, and rooted in the very culture the show was trying to portray. Her growing popularity wasn't just about novelty. It was about how naturally she fit into the rhythm of the swamp. Early episodes featuring Pickle regularly pulled in strong ratings, and it was easy to see why. Her manner on screen was professional and down to earth, with none of the theatrics that can often creep into reality TV. Whether she was handling bait, setting lines, or pulling in a catch, she did it all with quiet focus and a clear understanding of the job. That authenticity extended to her partnerships on the show. The bond between Pickle and Troy Landry quickly became a central draw for viewers. In many episodes, their teamwork felt less like a scripted setup and more like an actual mentoring relationship in progress. Troy shared his experience with patience and humor, and Pickle responded with attention and respect, picking up new techniques while showing she already had plenty of her own. Troy's status as a seasoned hunter gave him credibility that was impossible to fake, and for him to take Pickle seriously sent a clear message to the audience. She was the real deal. Their dynamic didn't just create good television. It offered a glimpse into how traditions are passed down in real hunting communities, where learning often happens not in classrooms but out on the water, in real time, under pressure. As her confidence grew, Pickle began taking on more responsibilities and appeared in more complex scenes. It became increasingly clear that she wasn't just a supporting cast member. She was a reliable lead in her own right. She didn't shy away from tough situations or difficult weather. In fact, in several episodes where the conditions were rough, strong winds, choppy waters, or unusually large gators, Pickle's calm attitude helped keep the team grounded. Viewers took notice. Unlike some reality stars who rely on personality or conflict to stay relevant, Pickle let her actions speak for themselves. She didn't need to create drama to be interesting. Her commitment to the work, her respect for the environment, and her natural interaction with the people around her made her relatable to many fans. She came across not as a performer but as someone who was simply living her life, just with a camera rolling. One of the biggest turning points in her television journey was her inclusion in the spin-off series Swamp People Serpent Invasion. This show, also on the History Channel, focused on hunting invasive snake species in the Florida Everglades, a completely different environment compared to the swamps of Louisiana. While the original series centered on alligators, this new challenge required different skills, quicker reflexes, greater agility, and the ability to spot and handle dangerous reptiles that moved in entirely different ways. Pickle's transition into this new series was smooth. She adapted quickly and proved once again that she wasn't a one-dimensional hunter. Her experience in the swamp gave her an edge, but it was her willingness to adjust and learn new techniques that stood out. In Serpent Invasion, she often worked with other well-known figures from the original show but also spent time forming new connections with people who had different backgrounds and hunting methods. Her flexibility and professionalism made her a valuable addition to the team. One of the most interesting aspects of her time on the spin-off was how it expanded her public image. Instead of being seen just as the girl who hunts gators, she became known as a versatile outdoorswoman capable of handling a range of high-risk situations in diverse natural settings. It also helped solidify her reputation within the community of hunters featured on the show. She wasn't just accepted. She was respected. Her collaboration with fellow female hunter Ashley Jones in special episodes added another layer to her story. Seeing two women in a male-dominated field working together with skill and determination broke certain expectations and inspired many viewers. Their teamwork was effective and genuine, offering a different kind of narrative to a show that had long relied on traditional male figures. These episodes weren't just symbolic. They showed real, capable professionals doing what they do best. Behind the scenes, Pickle maintained strong relationships with many of her colleagues. Reports from cast and crew members described her as easy to work with, focused, and respectful of both people and the production process. She understood the difference between reality and reality TV, and she seemed to walk that line with ease. Even as her presence on screen grew, she didn't develop a reputation for attention-seeking or diva-like behavior. Instead, she remained consistent, professional during filming, and grounded off camera throughout seasons 12 to 16. Pickle continued to appear in both major and supporting roles, whether it was a key hunt with Troy Landry or a guest spot in a team-up episode. Her name remained a regular part of the broadcast schedule. During this time, her face became strongly associated with the brand of Swamp People. Promotional materials, highlight clips, and behind-the-scenes features often used her image to draw in viewers, especially younger fans who might not have followed the show in its earlier years. Her influence also extended beyond the screen. As Pickle gained more followers on social media, she began to share glimpses of her life outside of hunting. These posts helped fans connect with her in new ways. Photos from family events, casual days out, and local community gatherings revealed a side of her that the show could not always capture. She was not just a hunter. She was also a daughter, a partner, and a member of a tight-knit local culture. This broader view of her life added depth to her public image. It showed that her identity did not stop at the swamp. While she remained proud of her roots, she was also evolving. As she grew more comfortable in the public eye, she began using her platform to highlight causes she cared about, like preserving the ecosystem of Louisiana's wetlands and promoting responsible hunting practices. Though these efforts were not always front and center in the show, they added another layer to the way fans viewed her. By the end of her 4th season on the show, it was clear that Pickle Wheat was not just passing through. She had become one of the key reasons Swamp People continued to attract both longtime viewers and new audiences. Her steady rise over those years was not driven by manufactured storylines or staged drama. Instead, it was built on a foundation of genuine skill, a strong work ethic, and the ability to stay true to herself in a highly public role. At a time when many reality TV shows rely on fast-paced editing and flashy characters to hold attention, Pickle stood out by doing the opposite. She was calm, skilled, and real. That honesty made her a rare figure in a genre often criticized for being overly staged. It also gave the show a sense of continuity and groundedness that fans appreciated. However, while audiences had grown used to seeing her maneuver boats, handle bait, and wrangle alligators with skill and confidence, her life away from the camera remained largely private. That began to change in 2022 when a simple social media post offered a new glimpse into a deeply personal chapter of her story. In late 2022, Pickle posted an ultrasound image on Facebook with a short caption confirming that she was expecting her first child. The image also featured Joshua Kipuz, an emergency medical technician based in Louisiana, standing beside her. The announcement was met with surprise and excitement from fans, many of whom had followed her journey on Swamp People without knowing much about her life beyond the swamp. This marked the beginning of a noticeable shift not just in how fans perceived her but in how Pickle shared her life with the public. Before this point, she had kept her personal relationships mostly out of the spotlight. While she had gained a growing following on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, her posts rarely ventured beyond hunting, nature, or occasional behind-the-scenes moments with fellow cast members. With the pregnancy announcement, however, she invited her audience into a different world, one shaped by family, preparation for motherhood, and a slower, more reflective pace. The news sparked speculation about her future on Swamp People. Would she continue hunting while pregnant? Would she take time off from filming? Would this signal a full departure from the show? These questions circulated widely, especially among loyal fans who had grown accustomed to her steady presence across multiple seasons. In May 2023, Pickle gave birth to her daughter, whom she named Mammy. The name, deeply rooted in Southern heritage, was consistent with Pickle's values and cultural background. She announced the birth with a photo of her newborn's tiny hand resting in her own, posted on Facebook. The caption was simple, heartfelt, and in keeping with her down-to-earth style. Unlike many public figures who rely on polished public relations statements or professional photographers, Pickle continued to communicate in the same authentic voice that had earned her the respect of fans. What surprised many people, however, was that Pickle had not completely stepped away from the show during her pregnancy. She appeared in several episodes of Swamp People during seasons 14 and 15, including scenes that were filmed while she was visibly pregnant. In behind-the-scenes clips released by the History Channel, Pickle talked candidly about her decision to keep working. She explained that as long as she felt capable and was aware of her limits, being out in nature actually made her feel better than sitting still at home. It was a personal choice rooted in how she had been raised, active, self-reliant, and closely connected to the outdoors. The footage of Pickle continuing to work while pregnant quickly became a talking point among fans. Some praised her for showing strength and determination, while others voiced concerns about safety. For Pickle, the key was balance. She adapted her activities, avoided the most physically risky tasks, and took on support roles when necessary. Whether helping prepare gear, steering the boat, or managing bait lines, she stayed involved without pushing herself beyond what she felt was safe. These moments added a new layer to her image. Viewers saw not only a hunter and TV personality but also a mother navigating the physical and emotional changes of pregnancy while remaining connected to her work. In a reality TV landscape that often favors exaggerated personalities and manufactured conflict, Pickle's quiet resilience stood out. She did not dramatize her situation or seek extra attention. She just kept showing up, doing what she could, and letting her actions speak for themselves. After the birth of her daughter, Pickle adjusted her schedule. She didn't appear in as many episodes or spend as many days on set, but she remained a part of the show's fabric. She continued to film select scenes with Troy Landry and other familiar faces, often in shorter segments or less intense hunts. These changes were widely understood by both the production team and the audience as a practical step to balance new responsibilities with ongoing work. At the same time, her social media presence evolved. She began sharing more frequent updates about family life, including pictures of her daughter, casual moments at home, and snapshots of everyday routines. These posts weren't carefully curated or edited for perfection. They reflected real life, complete with its chaos, joy, and quiet moments. Fans responded positively. Instead of fading into the background, Pickle remained visible in a new way, offering a more complete picture of who she was both on and off-screen. Her openness about motherhood added to her relatability. Many fans expressed appreciation for how she managed to continue being part of the show while adjusting to the demands of being a new parent. For some, she became a symbol of how tradition and modern life could exist side by side, how it was possible to stay rooted in one's values while embracing change. Then in early 2025, Pickle made another personal announcement. In a video shared on Facebook, she revealed that she was pregnant with her second child. At the time of the post, she was already 25 weeks along. Wearing her usual outdoor gear, she spoke casually to the camera, explaining that while she was pregnant again, she was still staying active through light outdoor work and regular time spent in nature. Her tone was calm and matter-of-fact, with no sign of seeking special attention. A few weeks later, she shared another update, this time a photo showing her baby bump at 34 weeks. She mentioned that she expected to give birth in April or early May. Once again, she kept the tone grounded and personal. These moments, shared in her own way and in her own words, helped maintain a close connection with her audience, even as she stepped back from the more physically demanding parts of her career. One particularly memorable moment in this new chapter was her wedding to Joshua Kippis. The ceremony was simple, held outdoors, and featured in an episode of Swamp People's 16th season. This was a rare move for the show, which usually focuses on hunting and avoids delving deeply into cast members' personal lives. Including Pickle's wedding in the narrative was a sign of just how integral she had become, not only to the production but also to the audience's experience of the show. The wedding episode showed Pickle surrounded by family, colleagues, and familiar faces from the Swamp People crew. It was a warm, intimate gathering, and it gave viewers a rare chance to see a more personal side of someone they had mostly known through the lens of outdoor survival. The decision to feature her wedding wasn't just a ratings move. It reflected the genuine connection between Pickle and the people who had followed her journey. Following her marriage and second pregnancy announcement, Pickle continued to share bits of her daily life online. Her posts ranged from light-hearted updates to heartfelt reflections about family and motherhood. Despite reducing her time on screen, she remained very much present in the lives of those who had come to admire her. With more than 130,000 followers on Facebook and high engagement across platforms, her influence extended far beyond television. Importantly, Pickle's evolution didn't erase her identity as a hunter. She never distanced herself from that part of her life. In fact, the image of her holding her child while wearing hunting clothes, standing by a boat or near a dock, became symbolic. It was a powerful visual that captured the idea of a modern woman who could honor tradition while stepping into new roles. Pickle Wheat began to slowly step out of the spotlight in early 2025. For those who had followed her journey from her first days on Swamp People, this change didn't go unnoticed. Viewers began to comment on her reduced screen time, wondering if this marked a new direction for her career or simply a temporary pause to focus on her growing family. Following the wedding episode that aired in season 16, which gave fans a rare glimpse into her personal life, Pickle's presence in the show started to decrease around late March 2025. New promotional material released by the show stopped featuring her in upcoming episode teasers. Social media posts from the official Swamp People accounts, which previously highlighted her scenes and milestones, also began shifting focus to other cast members. While this might have been subtle at first, it quickly became clear that something had changed. Episodes airing in April featured little to no new footage of Pickle. When she did appear, it was mostly through previously recorded clips used as part of recaps or flashbacks. Her absence from current hunts or group interactions suggested that she had taken a step back from active filming. Despite growing speculation, no official statement was released by the History Channel or Pickle's representatives. There was no dramatic announcement, no farewell scene, and no press release. Instead, the shift was quiet and gradual, much like how Pickle had handled most public aspects of her life. For someone who had always valued authenticity and simplicity, it made sense that she wouldn't seek attention over a personal decision to step back. However, fans didn't have to rely entirely on guesswork. On her personal Facebook page, Pickle shared a post in late March that many interpreted as a subtle message about her current priorities. It read, "Right now being at home is the #1 priority." There was no mention of leaving the show permanently, but the message was clear. At this stage of her life, family came first. The timing aligned with her second pregnancy, which she had announced earlier in the year. As she approached the final weeks before giving birth, it was understandable that her focus shifted away from long hours of filming in physically demanding conditions. In interviews and previous behind-the-scenes content, Pickle had always expressed her love for the work, but she also made it clear that she believed in balance. Her most recent social media posts around this time continued to show glimpses of daily life, family meals, relaxing moments by the water, time spent with her daughter, and quiet reflections. These updates helped fill the gap for fans who missed seeing her on screen, and they also reinforced the values she had consistently shared: commitment to family, love for nature, and respect for tradition. Despite the lack of official confirmation, viewers began drawing their own conclusions. Forums, Facebook groups, and comment sections were filled with questions, speculation, and support. Some fans hoped that her break was temporary and that she would return once her second child was older. Others expressed appreciation for the way she had handled her transition, without drama, without controversy, and with a strong sense of purpose. There were also discussions about what might come next for Pickle. A few television bloggers and entertainment insiders suggested that she could be exploring new opportunities, possibly outside the traditional TV format. Some speculated she might create her own content on social platforms or even lead a new series focused on women in the outdoors. While none of these ideas have been confirmed, the conversation itself highlighted the lasting interest in her story. What makes Pickle's current phase so significant is not just the fact that she stepped away, but the way she did it. In a media environment where many reality TV figures work hard to maintain visibility, Pickle's quiet departure stood out. She did not announce a new brand, start a clothing line, or launch a podcast. She simply refocused her energy on what mattered most to her at the time. That choice resonated with many viewers. Over the years, Pickle had become more than just a character on a show. She had come to represent something larger, a kind of bridge between tradition and modernity, a grounded figure in a world that often feels overstimulated and overly curated. Her audience appreciated her not because she was trying to be something new, but because she remained true to who she was. That identity, shaped by years of working in the swamps and living closely with nature, did not disappear just because she was not filming. In fact, it only became more meaningful. Fans continued to share stories, memories, and clips of her time on the show, often reflecting on how her attitude and work ethic had left a lasting impression. Many commented that the show simply did not feel the same without her. It is worth noting that Pickle is not the first longtime cast member to take time away from Swamp People. Over the years, several veterans have stepped back due to health issues, family matters, or personal reasons. But in Pickle's case, the response from fans seemed more emotional. Part of that is likely due to the fact that she was seen as the future of the show, a younger presence who brought fresh energy and helped attract a new audience. Her absence created a gap that was not just about screen time. It was about what she represented: continuity, strength, and a deep connection to the lifestyle that Swamp People aims to document. As one fan put it in a Facebook comment, Pickle was not just hunting gators, she was keeping the spirit of the swamp alive. Even without regular appearances, her involvement in the show still echoes. She is still referred to in behind-the-scenes content, and past episodes featuring her remain popular with viewers catching up or revisiting old seasons. Her influence can also be seen in how the show now features more diverse faces, especially younger cast members and women, perhaps inspired by the strong response to Pickle's story. Beyond television, Pickle has remained active in her community. Reports and social media posts have shown her continuing to help with the family's duck and turkey call business. She has also participated in fundraising events and local efforts to support families affected by natural disasters, especially in Louisiana where severe weather events are common. These efforts do not always make headlines, but they are consistent with the character fans came to admire on screen. Her relationship with Troy Landry has also continued, even if not regularly documented. In a 2023 interview, Troy described her as part of the family. Their partnership, forged in the swamps, has clearly outlasted their time in front of the cameras. That kind of bond is rare and adds to the authenticity of her legacy. There have been occasional rumors about potential future projects, but for now Pickle seems content focusing on her home life. Whether or not she returns to Swamp People or launches something new, she has left a mark that does not depend on constant updates or media presence. Looking back on her journey from a young woman raised in the swamps of Louisiana to one of the most recognizable faces in one of the History Channel's longest-running shows, it is clear that Pickle Wheat did not just play a role. She lived it. She brought real experience, real emotion, and real values into a space often dominated by spectacle. And that is why she remains memorable. As of now, Pickle has not officially closed the door on television, and fans continue to hope that she will make a return when the time is right. But even if she does not, her story stands on its own. She entered a tough, male-dominated space, earned her place through hard work, and walked away on her own terms without compromising who she is. For many, that is the real legacy, not just the alligator catches or the action scenes, but the way she showed that strength can be quiet, that tradition can evolve, and that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that continue off camera.